Welcome to the Facebook Live Support sample video from the course The Fearless Fluency Club. In this video, you'll see a recording of the live video that I did on the Speak English with Vanessa Facebook page. When you join the full course for the Fearless Fluency Club, you will get live support like this each week to help you understand and keep up with the full course. Enjoy this video and learn a lot. Hello! Welcome to today's Tuesday live Facebook lesson here on the Speak English with Vanessa Facebook page. I'm glad that you're here and learning English with me in a positive, encouraging, and useful way. I want to make sure you are not wasting your time. Me too, I don't want to waste my time. So in these lessons, you will be learning something useful and you'll have a chance to use it. Writing your sentences, seeing other sentences, and meeting people around the world. It's great. So if you would like to join me for these live lessons in the future, they are every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. This is New York time, so it is the afternoon in Europe, evening night in Asia. I hope you can join me live or watch the replay. And today we have something special. Because we're going to be talking about some vocabulary from the sample lesson set for the Fearless Fluency Club. So last week, if you received my emails, I sent to you the sample lesson set that you can download. This is 4 videos, transcripts, materials, lots of things. So if you downloaded those materials, let me know. Yes, I downloaded them. Yes, I have them. If you did not download them yet, I recommend it. It's free. You can learn with those materials. The link is in this post, so you can take a look at the link and download the materials. Welcome everyone. Thanks for coming, Alexander. I'm glad you're here. Oh, number 1, English teacher. Wow, you're some nice comments this morning. Wonderful. Hi, Tsuyoshi. Welcome. And I also heard that one of my students has a son named Tsuyoshi. So every time I say hello to you, Tsuyoshi Saito, her son thinks that I'm talking to him. Oh, it's so great. Hi, Kamal. Welcome. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you have watched the free sample lesson set. Excellent. So we have Tsuyoshi said yes, Kamal said yes, Mohammed is here. Welcome. If you have watched the free lesson set or any of those videos, if you have downloaded them, let me know. Yes, I have downloaded them already. The purpose of talking about the material live together is because I think sometimes we need a little motivation to study or to improve. Because when you're learning at home by yourself, it can be a little bit lonely, or maybe you need some people around you to encourage you. So when we have a live lesson like this, where we are going to talk about the vocabulary lesson, you know, I need to watch the video before Vanessa's live lesson. So you kind of have a little deadline. If you don't watch it, you can watch it after the live lesson, but I think it's useful to have that kind of mini deadline or this learning together process. It's really useful. Great. Vashilav says, yes, I have downloaded it. Perfect. So today we're going to talk about a word. Does anyone know what is the word we are going to talk about today? It is in this post and it was in the email that I sent to you today. So if you received my email about 2 hours ago, you saw this word. What word are we going to talk about today? It's a big one and it's important. Oh, we've got lots of other people who have downloaded it. Yes, Olga has. Excellent. Timo has. Great. Yes, this is a really good method for following the path and keeping at the right time with the rest of us so you can learn together. I'm glad that you did it, Timo. Great, great. Oh, I see this word coming up. Tsuyoshi Alexander said, assume. Assume, yes. Oh, and Babu downloaded it. Excellent, great. I'm glad that you did. Christian, you got it. Yes, assume. Assume. Oh, Simo has it too. Babu, assume, assume. Yes. So can anyone tell me before we start, what do you think the word assume means? What does this mean? Assume. To assume something. There's really one word that we can use to describe the word assume. What do you think it is? How could we give a short definition for the word assume? Assume. Oh, suppose. Okay, suppose is great. Suppose and guess. Guess is the word I was thinking of, but suppose is a very similar idea. To guess something. So guessing is not a bad thing. It's okay to guess. I slept really late yesterday. Oh, I guess that my body was tired. It's okay. I'm just guessing something. I don't really know. I'm just thinking of an idea. Hi, Jean-Jacques. Welcome. Welcome. But sometimes it's not good to assume. Hi, Talbay. Oh, welcome. I'm glad you're here live. I haven't seen your name come up live so far. I'm glad you're here. Super, super. Yes, so when we assume something, let's talk about some positive ways to assume. So here I have my my little piece of paper. I'm going to write down a sample sentence, and I want you guys to think of something for yourself and write your own sample sentence. Think of something that you could use with the word assume, and I'm going to give you a sample way that you could write it. So we could say, I assume that So the politest way to say this is talking about yourself. So this is why I included, I assumed that I needed to sleep. I slept for a long time. So I assumed that my body was tired. So when we guess something about ourselves, it's okay because we're talking about ourselves. Someone else is not gonna get offended or hurt if we guess something about ourselves. So maybe we could say, the first time that I spoke English, I assume, let's add a little D. We could add a D here. I assumed that I would be nervous, but actually it wasn't that bad. Wonderful experience. Babu says, I assumed that the train will reach Istanbul at 5 o'clock. Oh, I assumed that it would, but it didn't. Yes, so let's add here, I assumed that or maybe something. So you mentioned the train. The train is kind of a neutral thing. The train doesn't have feelings. So if the train is late and you're angry, oh, why is the train late? The train will not get sad because it's not a living creature. But if we assume about someone else, let's be careful. So here, Abdul Wahab, I hope I said your name correctly, said, I assume that the teacher will not come to class today. So maybe if you are going to a college or maybe you're in high school and your teacher is sick often, you might say, oh, I assume that we probably won't have class. I assume that it won't be necessary to go to class today. And maybe that's not too negative, but what if I said about my friend? Let's choose someone here. How about Yo-chan? I see Yo-chan on here. So Yo-chan, I'm going to use you as an example. Let's pretend that Yo-chan and I want to have dinner together. So we're gonna go out and eat pizza together. Oh, it would be great, Yo-chan. I hope someday we can do it. So let's pretend that Yo-chan and I want to go eat pizza together, and I go to the restaurant and I'm sitting and waiting for her, but after 15 minutes, she doesn't come. I might say, I assume that, I'm sorry, Yo-chan, for your example, I assume that Yo-chan doesn't like me because she's late. So this is a negative kind of assuming. I assume that Yo-chan doesn't like me because she's late. Maybe she isn't going to come. So this is guessing something that's not true about Yo-chan. Yo-chan's one of our students here. So if there is something about a relationship, we have to be really careful to assume something, because let's think of this situation. I am sitting at the pizza restaurant waiting for Yo-chan to come, and if she doesn't come and I assume that she doesn't like me, it's not very healthy for our relationship. Instead, I can assume that there's a lot of traffic, or I can assume that she needed to take care of her little brother. I don't know if you have a little brother, but assuming something positive instead of always assuming something negative immediately. I think some people feel that in their relationships, they immediately assume something terrible. Oh, Vanessa's late for her live lesson. Maybe she's never going to come. Maybe Vanessa will never have live lessons again. So we need to assume something based on what we already know about that person. So we've got a lot of sample sentences about assume here. I'd like to go back and read some of these to help you use this word in the best way possible. All right, we have that. Oh, Mizar, I hope I said that name correctly. Mizar says, greetings from Mexico. I just discovered your page. Oh, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I assume that my vocabulary will improve if I finish this video. You're correct. And this is a great, positive way to use assume. I assume that my vocabulary will improve because I will know how to use the word assume. And I will be able to hear this in TV shows. I'll be able to use it myself. It's a great thing to assume. This is probably a true thing too. Aha, Rosita. Hi, Rosita. How are you doing? Rosita says, hi, Vanessa. I assumed I can speak English fluently if I take 30 minutes to learn it every day. Yes, if you take 30 minutes every day, you assume I can do it. Yes, 30 minutes is a great time to learn English. And today you're here learning with me for about 30 minutes, so this is a great step. Jean-Jacques says, I assume my guests will arrive at 11:30 today. I hope they will. They said they would. I hope that they do. Nazim says, I assume that I take care of my children. I assume that I can take care of my children, or that I will take care of my children. You're pretty certain that it's going to happen. Excellent. Oh, these are great sentences. And let's see, what else have we got? Oh, Carlos, did you have a job interview? He said, I assumed that I got nervous during my first job interview. So let's make sure that we're using the verb tense that is going to be the best in this situation. So let's take Luis's sentence. If you don't mind, Luis, I'd like to take your sentence. I assumed that I got nervous during my first job interview. If we use assumed with ed. If we use assumed, this means our guess was wrong. So if we say, I assumed that I couldn't pick up the heavy box because it was too big for me, this means I guessed incorrectly. Actually, I could pick it up. So this is a little nuance of this word, that if we say, I assumed that I would be nervous for my interview, it means I guessed incorrectly. Actually, I wasn't nervous. I could do it. I answered well. You assumed incorrectly. So when we say assumed, that's the little nuance that's important to notice when you're using this yourself. Let's take a look at some of the other ones here. Kamal says, I assumed that she didn't love me after meeting her. So if we remember this ed here, this ed, so because Kamal used ed, I assumed that she didn't love me, this means I was wrong. Actually, she loved me, hurrah! So when we use the ed, this is something that means something positive instead. Oh, actually, my guess was wrong. Crystal said, I assumed you did not read my sentence, but I did read it. Great, great. Gassen, I agree with you. He says, I assume that this course will help me improve my English. Beautiful, because if you said, I assume that this course will help me improve my English, I hope it's true, yes. If you said, I assumed that this course would help me improve my English, it means this course really didn't help you improve your English. It means I assumed, I thought that it would be like that, but it really wasn't. So I'm glad you said, I assume. That means it's true. Yes, this course is going to help you. Great. All right, let me make sure I can get through all of the great sentences. Oh, I assume I will learn a lot from you, teacher. Great, Sultan. Thank you. Oh, Azir says, I assume the weather is nice today in your town. Yes, it is pretty bright, and it's going to be a hot day. I'm going to go to the mountains. We're going to go swimming in a creek in the mountains. It's going to be great today. Thank you so much. Great sentences. Oh, Nat says, I assume I can meet some good people here. Yes, yes. So I love that you used the present tense. I assume that. This means it's true. Your guess was true. Because if you said, I assumed that I could meet nice people here, it means really you didn't. You didn't meet nice people. So I'm glad you said I assume, because it's true. We've got lots of nice English learners, excellent people here, and some English teachers as well. I think there's a lot of English learners who are also teachers because they feel passionate and excited about English and want to share it. Excellent. All right, let's make sure I've got, lots and lots and lots of comments. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you guys are writing lots of sentences about assume. You're awesome. I appreciate your feedback. Christian says, I assumed that I had, let's add forgotten. I assumed that I had forgotten my bag, but did you find it? Because this is assumed, ed. Does that mean you found it? I hope so. I hope so. So I'm glad that this was a positive circumstance for you. You found your bag in the end. And I want to let you guys know too, if you would like to learn more about this word, and also I think there's 26 total words, 25 other words for free in the sample lesson set, I recommend downloading. Up here, or maybe down here, there is a link for the sample lesson set for the Fearless Fluency Club. And the Fearless Fluency Club is going to be opening at the end of August. But at the moment, you can download the sample lesson set and just check it out and learn with me, because today, Tuesday, and on Thursday, we are going to be talking about vocabulary. We're going to continue to talk about the vocabulary lesson. Next week, we're going to talk about the grammar lesson, and the next week we're going to talk about the pronunciation lesson. So I really recommend downloading the material and studying it yourself. I have a study guide. When you download it, you can also follow the study guide. So this is just an added bonus that we can learn together live, practice the word assume, and hopefully assume positive things. Let's make sure that we assume correctly, try to guess correctly. And we have a great question. What is the difference between assume and guess? The slight difference is that guess is a more neutral word. Assume, we often use this to be something about a relationship, something negative, like I assume that my boyfriend is late because he has another girlfriend, or I assume that Vanessa doesn't like me. Something about a relationship. We can use this in a negative way, and we usually don't use guess in this way. We can use assume in positive ways as well. There were a lot of examples of that, but usually assume is the one word that we use. I want to tell you something that Dan used in the vocabulary video. So in the vocabulary video, in the sample lesson set, Dan gave a little quote about the word assume. All right, I'm going to spell this for you, and I'm going to show you. So this is a bad word in English, but it's a great way to learn. So we can say, I'm going to use a different color here. When you assume about someone else, because we don't really know what they're thinking until they tell us. When you assume about someone else, we can make an ass. Make an ass means we do something stupid. We do something stupid. When you assume, we make an ass out of you and me. So in the end, you might hear people say this in TV shows or movies. It's kind of a funny little idiom or quote or proverb. When you assume about a relationship, it's not a healthy thing, because instead we should just ask them, Yo-chan, why were you late to our pizza date? And maybe she would say, oh, I'm sorry, there was a lot of traffic and my phone died, so I didn't message you. Okay, great. This is a very neutral thing. It doesn't mean that she hates me. So if I assumed, Yo-chan is late and she doesn't like me, and why is she coming? Oh, maybe this is a bad idea. This is the perfect example for this idiom. We could say, when I assume about my relationships, instead of talking about it and finding out the truth, I make an ass out of you and me. It's not a good thing for our relationship. So I hope that this lesson about assume is useful for you. Quickly, the difference between assume and assumes. Great question. Hung says, what's the difference between assume and assumes? This simply means that the subject is different. She assumes. I assume. We assume. They assume. He assumes. So just it's all present tense. So it just depends who the subject is. So thank you so much for joining me and learning with me today in this live Facebook lesson about assume. I am going to post this live lesson. It will, of course, be on this Facebook page, but I'm also going to post this on a playlist on YouTube. So there is a playlist on my YouTube page called the Fearless Fluency Club. And on the Fearless Fluency Club, you can see the other videos. You can see the conversation, vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and all of these live videos about Fearless Fluency Club vocabulary or information, it's going to be on this playlist, so you can check it out and learn more about it. So I want to make sure all of this information is in one place and useful for you. I assume that you will enjoy it. I know that you will enjoy it. And I assume that you got a bigger vocabulary because of these lessons today. Thank you for joining me, Stephanie, great. Yes, thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, Mustafa. I'm glad you're here. Come back on Thursday, and don't forget to download the free lesson set. This is going to be useful for your self-study time. Thank you, Yuan. Thank you, Sungpo. Welcome, welcome. Jean-Jacques, see you later. I'm glad you're here. Bye, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. Or maybe Tuesday night. I think for you, Rosita, in East Asia, it's quite late. Have a good night. Thank you, everyone. See you later. Bye.
Thank you for watching this sample video lesson from the Fearless Fluency Club. I would love to help you continue to improve your English. Would you like to get full lesson sets every month and personalized feedback from me? Click the I at the top of the screen to join, or click the link in the description below. You can become a fearless, fluent English speaker. Let's start now.